Hi YouTube, I'm Tammy K. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited because we are painting one of my favorites. We're painting poppies, but look at this. It's a loose rendition of it. Sure, we've got some interpretation of these petals, and we've got the classic poppy buds, which are always so fun to paint. I'm excited about this because I feel like it embraces my style, and we're going to do a high contrast. We'll do some light, mid-tones, and then that really dark color in just specific parts to get the contrasting between those light and dark values. So let's get to it, guys. Today I'm teaching you how to get that contrast, make it very easy and simple. Let's get to it. All right, guys, so we are starting with our centers. I do want to spray down my palette. And I'm really excited to try this painting again because it's been such a long time. It's been such a long time. So we're gonna start with our number 6 round, and I want to grab some really nice runny paint. So we're gonna do this beautiful cadmium yellow. Dab your brush, and we'll start doing these little kind of side bursts. Is that what I want to say? No, but let's call them starbursts instead. How about that? So just these little poofs of color, and then we can do the center a different color later on. We're going to do another one right about here. Okay. So recreating this painting, we're probably going to change it up a bit. Just have fun and see where it takes us. And for the side facing, we'll just put it right here. Just a little bit like that. All right, so cleaning my brush. And then we're going to take a very large brush. This is from Christy Rice's collection. And we are just going to start sampling different really light runny versions of color here. I've got some beautiful Opera Rose, which is like a fluorescent pink. If we add that in, we're going to start to spread some things around. So just grabbing some paint, dabbing our brush, and we are just going to swoop from the top down. And just without touching that middle, if you can avoid it. So I'm going to grab more colors here. Swooshing. Now this brush is a dagger, and you can do some cool stuff with it. Boop. And of course, we are doing what I call an Icelandic poppy, and I'm going to take off some of that paint. But, that doesn't mean we dipped into the yellow. That's okay though. You can do that and it's going to be fine. It actually looks really pretty. So you can leave some white space so that you don't have all that bleeding happening there. So yes, this is Icelandic poppy, but that doesn't mean it has to look exactly like a poppy. So that's the thing, just trying to find ways. So we're swooping our petals around. I'm kind of twisting and turning the brush, finding ways to celebrate the flower in your own way, in your own style. I don't do things realistically. Maybe one day I will. Just twisting and turning your brush. But for now, we're just having loads of fun making up our own versions. So how about you? Is that something that you do? Do you find yourself, feeling like you really have to kind of emulate what you see other people do? Do you kind of do your own thing? I'm going to drop in a little bit. Well, this is still kind of wet. It's not really wet. Well, this is wet right there. That didn't work. Let's try that again. While this is wet, drop in a little bit of color. This is drying pretty quickly, and so that's okay. This is a little different than the original that I did. And just putting in a little bit of color, taking a clean, damp brush. We can kind of spread it a little bit if we want to. And that water is going to allow it to kind of move a little bit. All right. And this one will help it out a little bit. Just like so. So there we go. And then we'll do our side facing. So the side facing, we are going to maybe grab a little more pink here. We can't see as much. They're all going to be really stuck together and just kind of cloistered, which is totally fine. But we're doing this petal here, and we're doing this side facing. It's a tilted one, so we're doing just a little bit of a petal there, grabbing more paint and adding in our little swooshy colors. and Petals. All right, so we've got those three on the paper right now, just letting them kind of hang out. We're gonna see how that goes. And then at this point, I'm going to take my #1 quill. This is part of the collection that I'm designing with Craftimo, and swishing, swirling the brush. If you want to be notified when these come out, you can definitely click the link in the description and sign up. So I've got this beautiful olivey green. I've got a sap green here too. And I'm just kind of grabbing what I've got. We're going to start by adding in our stem. So there's one stem you're going to see here. I like to kind of move them around, make them wiggle. And then this guy here will have a little bit of a wiggly stem. And then this one we can kind of arc around as well. So just sort of keep them all around the same area. Then I do want to add in some buds, and so we're going to do a rounded bud here. And then one over here. Actually, I'm going to make them bigger. They need to be bigger, just like that. And then we can do one over here, kind of similar to the composition that I already had done before. And then let them be a little wiggly and squiggly, and this one's going to come up like that. Squiggly, wiggly leaves are just really fun, and stems. And, you know, as I'm looking at this, I might want to add in some more buds too. I think I do. I want to do one right here. So when I'm recreating a painting, I really enjoy just kind of, you know, changing it up a little, making things a little different. And we're going to do one right here. And just, you know, augmenting, that's probably the word. These petals are very different than the ones in the original. So, you know, it just gives it a fun little feel, something different. And now that things are starting to dry a little, especially over here, I'm going to grab some of the really bright pink. I'm just going to go for a bright version, and I'm going to pop that color in right there. And so that is part of the bud that is starting to open up, where you've got the leaves, or the casing of green. So you can see a little bit there, and you pop that in, and it can spread around a little bit, wet on wet, which I think is a really pretty look. If you want to add more, you can. It's your painting. All right, so then you want to take a look at your flowers and see, are they fully dry? I'm actually going to hit this up with a hairdryer just a little bit, and then we'll get to that second layer. Okay, so here's the fun part. This is always my favorite. So I'm taking the quill now, and I'm going to start adding in various different shades of like pink. You could do red, mauve, things like that. Dab your brush, and you're just going to start adding in some extra color. Some extra color, just a little bit. This is going to be the second layer because I do want to do 3. So this is where we're starting to get, you know, some fun, brighter colors. And I just kind of intuitively go through this and start putting in different marks based on where I feel like painting, okay? So this is not on what is right and what is wrong, the right way to put the color, the wrong way to put the color. It's about, you know, where do you feel like making these marks for shadows? Sometimes we like to go around the petal a little bit like that. With this quill, I can press down, heavy pressure, squiggle my brush, and get lots of beautiful thick marks, but then I can lift up and get some thin ones too. So you can see that this is just like a process of kind of, you know, going with the flow and putting down marks wherever it makes sense for you. So this might feel like a little daunting. You can do some little lines like this, little crevices here. But honestly, it's one of those things that you just kind of, you know, have to figure out what makes sense. So using your intuition, right? Where do you feel like putting those marks? Where do you think they need to go? Some dark ones here on the tip of the flower. We're going to do more with the center as well in a little bit. So we'll leave it like that for now, but I do want to get to this guy here. And I do want to make sure that's a little bit darker on the inside because just kind of, so grabbing some alizarin crimson with the pink, just because it's the inside right here that's tucked away. So kind of putting those marks in right now. And if you feel like something is too dark, kind of swooshing and swooping that around, clean your brush, dab it, and that's where you start to kind of spread out your color just a little bit. Does that make sense? And you just sort of blend in some of those marks. And this we can leave a little bit lighter, except that I do want to add in a little bit of pink, just a little over that, just a little bit, okay? So we've got some color on there. I can go in with this beautiful mauvey purpley color. I could put some marks on that, of that color. In here, some tiny ones for some darkness, which I think looks quite pretty and stunning. Can even add some dark in there too, just for some nice contrast really. And then over here, we can start to put in some more beautiful marks. So Icelandic poppies are just gorgeous. They have beautiful colorings. And I'm clearly, you know, changing this whole look around. So, and I think what really makes it a classic poppy, of course, is, you know, of course the buds and the way that the stems move, but then also the centers, what we're doing with the centers. So a little bit extra purple there. I'm just kind of going over the top of things and adding in. So I can do some purple here, and then I can take my brush, clean it, dab it, and start to just lighten, you know, that mark. So it's really just a process of, you know, having fun. Anyway, so, you know, if you are interested in letting me know your experience, I'd love to know. Let me know in comments what you're liking about this painting so far, what's really standing out to you, if there's something that you would do differently, or all those things. I love hearing your feedback. So we're just kind of, you know, etching out some fun little marks. And we can even do some orange if you want. Sometimes when things are wet, it starts to look like a hot mess and you got to dry it, and then you can add in some more drier details over the top. This guy needs some more things. I'm going to try with my alizarin crimson. So you can see I'm taking really thick concentrated paint and just, you know, dabbing that in the center there. Maybe a little bit out here. Just kind of going around where the petals would be, outlining a little bit. Having fun with it. You've got to have fun. Spreading. All right, so I'm going to dry this, and then we'll go back in with our last layer. Whoops, I'm just throwing brushes around, guys. Just going to soften this part right here. Oh my, sometimes it's hard to stop. All right, so last but not least, a smaller brush, more concentrated paint, and just taking a round brush here. So kind of spinning it around, grabbing some paint here, and then I'm going to dab it. I don't want a lot of liquid, and this is where I sort of start to etch in, you know, more of those kind of more details. So I do a lot less than I did for the first two layers. And I'm just trying to make things stand out at this point a little bit more. For some of these, I might want to, you know, put a little bit more of some detail over some of these petals just to make them stand out. And then, if you want to, again, the same kind of blending method will suffice. And over here, I'm going to do some of that mauvey purple color. So really thick. That's what I want to do. And this is where it's going to dry darker. Sorry, it's going to be dark, but it's going to still be one shade lighter than what it looks like now. And yet, at the same time, it'll still be real nice and dark. So that's the look we're going for here with your details. Always analyze, how are you feeling? Take a break if you're feeling stressed in any way, because we certainly don't want that. We don't want you to feel stressed out or worried about your painting. You know, take a step back, walk away. It's always okay and appropriate to do that if you need to. Don't worry. Your painting will remain. It'll be there for the next day if you need to come back to it. And just a little extra. Sometimes it can be hard to stop. And so that's where you have to sort of remind yourself, you know, when you think you're done, walk away. And there's no shame in that. So I feel like this is about done, but I do want to put in a little bit more marks there. I do want to put in some green in the center. So I'm going to do that right now. Grabbing my sap green, just scrubbing around here. And then that's going to go in the middle right there. Stippling in. Don't want to cover up the yellow, but just making sure that that's there. A little bit over here for our little tilted one. And right here in the center as well. So how do you feel about your painting? We're going to just do a little bit more of this beautiful green just to add in some shadow parts for these guys. And as I'm doing that, kind of think of, you know, what are 2 or 3 things that you like about your painting, what you've been able to put together. Grabbing some more of this paint, but I'm going to darken it a lot for shadow. Finding 2 or 3 things that you like about your painting. If it's hard to kind of notice that, maybe take some intentional time to try. Even writing down can be helpful. 2 or 3 things, even if it's just the colors or the composition, or that you were feeling relaxed. That would be a huge deal. Maybe you were feeling relaxed during this whole process, which of course would be amazing. Tell me about it in comments. What did you find that you liked about your painting? I would love to know. I'm going to extend these out a little bit. And you know what? I'm feeling pretty happy about these gals. I'm going to show you guys the original painting, just once again for comparison. That one and this one. Yeah, super different. It's got its own personality. I'm making so much noise today. Good grief. And, you know, this is a new sketchbook, and I'm just noticing that the paper is working a little different than I'm used to. So that is something to keep in mind when you are starting to use other paper. I'm going to do a little bit more here. I can feel like maybe it's not as durable with the water, but that's okay. And, you know, your painting is going to come out different every time, especially if you kind of repeat what you've been doing. You're based on your skills and what you've learned. And that's a great thing. So if you enjoyed painting this with me, great. And maybe you'll try it again. All right, guys. So that's kind of that part. I'm really digging these colors. I'm going to do some splatter because that's what I do. And I want to do hot pink because, again, that's what I'll do. A little bit of hot pink. And then just a little bit. Oh, yeah, that's fun. Around there, around the buds. This is the first page of my sketchbook, guys, so I had to be brave because people don't usually like painting on the first page. Let's do some bright pink. Wish I had some gold right on top of this. Oh, man, that's pretty. That's real nice. And, guys, I want to remind you that I'm on Patreon for $3 a month and up. Depending on what you'd like to get, you can get drawing sheets or I have a live stream. I'm starting a live class once a month, as well as you can get a tutorial. So depending on what you're looking for. So check that out, linked in the description. We have so much fun over there. I'm still wanting to paint here, guys. So I'm just gonna keep doing a few more like little lines and dots and stuff. So yes, the live class is gonna be great, and it's gonna be so fun. We're gonna do a I don't know, just a lot of florals. We might do some landscapes. I mean, Christmas is going to be coming up, so that's a whole nother thing in and of itself, doing some holiday stuff. Yeah, I'm really liking doing the dark lines and kind of really just showcasing that. Sometimes you get started and you just can't finish. If you're not sure about your petals and what they're doing, you can always outline a little bit. Even outlining outside of the petals is totally fine, as I did. So I better say that, right? Because I did it. I'm starting to get a little carried away because I'm really enjoying this whole thing. So I just want you to notice how fun it is and the beautiful techniques that you can establish when you do your lights, your midtones, and your darks, okay? And it's going to give you so much beautiful contrast. I'm going to add some dark in there again. So much good contrast and interest to your painting. If you kind of keep up with it and start really light, then go medium and then dark. I mean, it's loads of fun, I think. I'm just going to outline. So sometimes you want to outline the petal a little bit, and that'll just give you a fun little extra detailed look and fluffiness, all that stuff. So I'm going to do a little bit of green splatter, and then we'll call it a day, you guys. And make sure to check out my Skillshare classes, 30 days free with my referral code linked in the description. I've got 6 classes on there, almost 7 on florals and 1 on watercolor leaves. So anyway, enjoy. Alrighty, well, we painted our poppies. I really hope you had a good time. You're able to learn to relax and breathe and enjoy and all that stuff, you guys. If you like this kind of stuff, I invite you to join my Patreon membership as low as $3 a month. We have all kinds of fun exclusive content. We have an exclusive tutorial per month. We also have drawing sheets, and I've just added a live stream class once a month. So based on what you want to learn, you can check out the tiers. The link is below. Also, don't forget about my Skillshare classes. The 30 days free referral link is also down below, and I've got 6 on there if you want to learn more about painting with me. Take care, guys, and I'll see you soon on the next tutorial.